忍びの時代は終わる。俺は忍びだ。
Jouganですか。
So after 5 long years, the community is still pretty much in the dark when it comes to this thing. That is right, this right here, this is the Jougan, and we still hardly know anything. Like, is even manga canon at this point? Like, I understand that the Otsusuki god seemingly had a fair few pairs of it, but then like the anime cut that whole scene out, so what's even canon anymore? Like, it was in the manga, which is usually the blueprint of the anime, but then it was cut in the anime, which makes it feel like the writers were like, you remember that thing we did? We're kind of going to change it, but then they could just redo it later on. I don't know at this point. No one does. Which is kind of what I want to talk about today, because the Jougan is one of those things which everyone is pretty excited for, or at least they were anyway, until it felt like they were kind of getting clickbaited just ever so slightly. Because for those that don't know, outside of the Otsusuki god, we've not really seen the Jougan in the manga at all. In fact, we haven't. Now, I know everyone says, but Boruto in the time skip scene right at the beginning, that was... No, it wasn't. Look. They're different eyes. Now, yeah, maybe the design was changed somewhat, but you can clearly see in the first chapter of the manga that Boruto does not have the Jougan, or at least not the Jougan that we have become to know. So, what is the deal? What is the deal with this clickbait no dojutsu, huh? Well, let's have a little talk about today what we actually know about the Jougan. What we know so far is that the Jougan it's a pretty old eye from the Otsusuki family. Both Urashiki and Toneri have both said out it would be a significant issue for any Otsusuki unlucky enough to come across it. And I mean, that person would have to be very unlucky, because even we've hardly see it, and we follow the damn main protagonist around with the camera 24/7. And even we have hardly seen this damn eyeball. As I mentioned, when Ishiki spoke about the Otsusuki god, this almighty being that can rule the universe just by eating his 5 a day, it seemingly had a few Jougan going on. Therefore, everyone just kind of presumed that it's the ultimate dojutsu, which, I mean, it makes sense because the main protagonist has one as well. So, you know, you're chosen one shit. You know how shonen anime go. It's kinda an improved Byakugan, I guess. It basically does everything the Byakugan can pretty much do, top of other things, as Boruto has used it to sense negative emotions, perform space-time ninjutsu. It's basically a mix of Hinata, Naruto, and Sasuke's most unique traits, pretty much. There is one cool thing that I do want to mention though, which we have spoken about before on the ABD channel, but if you didn't know, I want to talk about it here because I think it's quite interesting and it gives us a little bit of insight regarding the inspiration for the Jougan and what we can expect. If you think back quite a while at this point, most of, if not all of the Jougan's appearances in the anime have come in the face of adversity. Be it the Nue attack, or the fight against Shizume, or the goddamn Otsusuki. But as I mentioned, that has not been the case for quite a while now. Now, I know that Toneri said some shit like, oh, but the Jougan's time is yet to come, or I don't know, some wise bollocks like that. That was 100% the writers going kind of like, well, I don't know where to go from here. Anyway, the main thing I want to talk about is that I don't think we've seen it since Urashiki. I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying that. That was its last major appearance anyway, if there's been one since. I don't remember it. And in fact, that was when Urashiki name-dropped the Jougan for the first time. In fact, even Shinki saw it. And I'm pretty sure Shinki and Boruto have met since that arc, right? Like, Shinki didn't mention anything about his eye then, and he's not mentioned anything about it since. Like, hello? You've just seen your friend and teammate with an eye that even an alien like, Surely that's a point of concern. I'm just thinking you may bring it up at the table once or twice. Perhaps. Maybe that's just me. However, this is where I get a little bit confused when it comes to the Jougan and kind of how it works. Like I said, we're going to go into its inspiration in a moment, but there is one little thing that kind of goes against that, which I find interesting, and whether or not there's actually a reason for Toneri's words. Because if the Jougan was just as simple as bad thing happens, eye pops up, then we'd have seen it against Deeper, we'd have definitely seen it against Ishiki, but we didn't, so it seems like there's more to it. That being said, the Jougan is quite clearly heavily inspired by what are known as Nazars, which would suggest that the Jougan does have a link to negativity. You see, that is because these Nazars are supposed to ward off evil spirits, and you can see, I'm going to put one on the screen now, you can't tell me by looking at these Nazars that they are not a clear piece of inspiration for not only the Jougan's abilities, but most definitely the design. Now that's cool and all, but why? Why do we have this eye? Because the manga has not once even come close to hinting this eye's existence outside of maybe God. In fact, this eye is so hard to come by that it's become a meme at this point in the community that every time the spoilers drop for a new chapter, everyone, and I mean everyone, is sat there going, Jougan, Jougan, please be Jougan, 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 Jougan. And guess what? Every month, nothing. So I want to ask you guys, what do you think is going on with the Jougan? Because I'm not going to lie, for a long time, I've been pretty much in the boat of the Jougan only exists to add an extra layer of relevancy to the anime so that the anime can be more creative with its storytelling, as it doesn't just have to rely on the karma plot, which is so heavily intertwined with the manga. Because when you think about it, the anime can't really add anything to the karma subplot because that is just the manga storyline. Without the karma, the manga doesn't exist. Therefore, the anime kind of had its own little version of the karma seal by introducing the Jougan to give Boruto something special and a mystery. But even then, despite that extra layer of relevancy, they've been so tight-lipped on it that it also makes you think, why? Like, surely then it's gonna come up in the manga at some point, right? But then you have to go back to that interview with Ikemoto a few years ago where he says he wants to get the series done within like 30 chapters, and I know that's usually not an accurate guess. Usually they always go over the amount of chapters they want to do, or volumes I should say, not chapters, forgive me. But if he wants to get it done within 30 volumes, then we're like already halfway through the story in the manga, and the Jougan doesn't even exist. It's taken them this long to build up the karma seal, and yet they've still got to introduce the Jougan and then tell the entire story of that. Like, that's not gonna be done in less than 30 volumes, I'm sorry. I refuse to believe that. Surely not. Give me some theories, give me something, give me hope. Listen, I don't want to be a Jougan denier, alright, but I'm damned if I say I'm not right now, alright people? I am a Jougan denier. Goodbye.